So as architects, we get this sustainability piece because we think about it as one, as you say, as one of many concerns and considerations and trade-offs we need to make. And so that's why I'm quite passionate about Architect Tomorrow. Is not just about, you know, the technology considerations and the business considerations, but it's about that sustainability piece. It's about, as you say, looking at the challenges we face as a society and thinking about what can we do as architects to ensure these sorts of trade-offs and these considerations are brought to our business stakeholders. Because you're right, we ultimately can't make the decisions. Perhaps sometimes some architects feel they can, and that's where they get into conflict with their business stakeholders. But actually, how do we surface up, how do we make very visible what the implications are on, you know, running lots of, you know, computationally expensive, you know, machine learning models, you know, well, that's using a lot of energy, you know, where does energy usage and sustainability in the kind of planetary sense start to kind of work into projects? Because I think if it doesn't hit the, you know, ground there, it won't necessarily hit the ground anywhere else.
It's all about, you know, simplification.
Yep.
So in simplification, I mean by that, I mean, you know, being able to abstract, such like an architect typically does, and being able to put into perspective, into pictures. I mean, you know, if you look at sustainability, some of the numbers are really mind-boggling. Something I think we've overslept in the IT industry for many years. If you look at ICT as a total, so all the compute power that we have and storage or network capability we have worldwide, it contributes 3% of CO2. So
I remember you saying actually in a recent blog that's similar to the aviation industry, isn't it?
Which is pre-COVID. So
right. Yeah, good point.
Aviation fuel, yes. So similar to aviation fuel. I mean, another way you could see this, if you were to assume all IT, so the entire IT industry was a country, it would be number 3 in terms of electricity consumption worldwide. So number 3 in the world. I don't know who's 1 and 2. I can't remember. I think it must be China and US.
Probably is.
But
yeah.
It's significant.
That's staggering.
There's another staggering number that I saw. Is there was a video that was released in 2016 or 2017, and that was the first video that reached 5 billion views on YouTube. And 5 billion views on YouTube equates to 40,000 US households consuming electricity per year.
Wow.
So it's their consequences of IEC or ICT or an IT per se that we have to do something with. And again, the architect is typically, it's not always the case, of course, and we are generalizing, but typically, particularly enterprise and solution architects are typically the ones that are tasked with making the right choices when it comes to solutioning. And when you're making right choices, you have to make sure that you have all the input parameters, all the various different aspects on the table. And yeah, like you say, I memean, consumption of electricity, and it's not just consumption of electricity, of course. There's also, you know, how you dispose of
the hardware and so on. Yeah, I mean, you know, as you've been talking, it's made me realise actually we talk a lot about technical debt, you know, and there's also increasingly been this talk of cybersecurity debt, but there's environmental debt, isn't there? And I guess where my head is we've been making a lot of sort of decisions over, you know, since the IT industry has existed about often throwing compute power at a problem rather than solving the problem the right way.